Hey, hey. Tobago updates. Na, 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 na. Good morning, Tobago. Na, 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 na. Wake up with Candace and Denicia. Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning, and welcome back to another Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, happy Valentine's Day to you. And I hope that you guys would be serenaded and enjoy today as much as I know I will. Now, this morning, we're going to get into a number of conversations. And to start off that conversation, I have the pleasure this morning of speaking with no other than Mrs. Shirley Cooke. But before we get deep into that conversation, guys, let's get into our news in 90 seconds. First off, we have Tobago's most prolific pan arranger, Duvon Stewart, who had a pan room named after him at his alma mater, Signal Hill Secondary School. The renaming ceremony took place yesterday as students celebrated the achievement of an alumni in pan. Stewart holds 28 panorama victories nationally and internationally. He got emotional as the students and teachers honored him. Stewart told the students that even though he had humble beginnings, he embraced the opportunities afforded to him at Signal Hill High and formed good friendships which helped him throughout his life. Stewart also encouraged students to treasure their time at the school. Additionally, Minority Leader Kelvon Morris called on the Executive Council of the THA to regularize workers attached to the office of the Minority Council. According to Morris, the Chief Secretary Farley Augustine committed to working with his team to establish an up-to-date structure for the functioning of the Minority Council's office. However, even after several meetings and letters, Morris explained they are not yet regularized and that the changes in the structure has not yet been completed. He claimed that they are still awaiting the Executive Council to approve a note to move the matter forward. And finally, Chief Justice Ivor Archie issued an ultimatum to Director of Public Prosecution, Roger Gaspard, stating that he expects prosecutors from his department to staff all courts. Archie penned a letter notifying Gaspard of the assignment and training of prosecutors from December 2022 to January 2023. In response, Gaspard warned that his office simply did not have enough prosecutors to send to the courts by March. There were reports in the last 2 weeks about the non-appearances of prosecutors for some case management conference hearings before judges, excluding trials, where none have appeared before any of the newly appointed judges hired in December. And that was your news in 90 seconds. Guys, as I said before, this morning, we're going to get into a number of conversations, especially surrounding the fact that we are now in the midst of the carnival season. Here on the island of Tobago, though, there hasn't been as much eruption as we can see happening on our sister isle, Trinidad. However, things are happening, things are moving, and they are shaking. We saw over the weekend the Panorama Medium Band Finals that was held at the parade grounds at the Dwight York Stadium. And in the upcoming weeks, as we unveil and unroll the rest of the carnival activities, we have a number of things happening both in the East and in the West. And one of those things that are going to be happening and are supposed to be the highlight of the carnival in Tobago West is that Jouvert in Crown Point. And to really get into that conversation and understand what we can expect from this February Crown Point Jouvert as opposed to what we saw in October, and what the people are expecting and what the people should be really in for, I have with me no other than Mrs. Shirley Cooke. Good morning, Ms. Cooke. It's always an honor and a pleasure to sit and discuss with you.
Good morning, Chanel. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
I must say you look quite radiant this morning. I
Thank you,
can tell
thank
that
you.
you're in the Valentine's mood, looking quite beautiful there.
Thank you.
So we want to talk a bit about what is happening for this February carnival in the Crown Point area. Tell us about what are some of the plans there.
Okay. Crown Point Carnival is in its 14th year of the event. We started it around 2008. And, well, obviously, we know that the COVID have affected a bit. But we're here this year, and we're here with a bang despite the short time that we know that we're going to be having the Jouvert. Because, as you know, the THA really announced that initially that Crown Point would not be having the Jouvert, and then subsequently we decided that we will be having the Jouvert. So we had a short time to pull together, but as business people and knowing that Crown Point Jouvert is a brand, we all pulled together and decided that we are going to come out and present the spectacular show that Crown Point is known for.
Right, and as the president of the Crown Point Business Association, tell me what were some of the reactions from some of the business owners in the area when they heard that there was not going to be a carnival, and how did they react to the change in knowing that now we have actually
Well,
having
first,
the carnival?
first off, the band leaders were the first to call us to find out, why is that? Because they weren't too pleased about it. So we convened a meeting with the band leaders, after which, we discussed with several other persons who also was not in favor of not having the Jouvert in Crown Point. So basically, the fact that they have changed their minds, made everyone, give everyone a sigh of relief. So subsequently to that, band leaders and everyone started to plan, for their masqueraders. And again, it's not, when you're planning for a carnival or your band, you need time because you have to get costumes and all the other things that goes into bringing out a band. So, all in all, we pulled together. We had the meetings with the THA, requesting some support. However, they were only able this year to give us 6 music trucks and some toilets, which is unfortunate because we did not have the time to reach out to our sponsors like we normally do. Because, as you know, Crown Point Jouvert is not, it's more like private sector trying to come together and not to have a burden on the THA purse. But yet we still need a bit of support, especially the business people are not able to support as they usually do, and understandably so. However, Crown Point is ready. Crown Point is wearing, the bands are excited, and we are ready to put on a show in Crown Point.
Okay, during the October Carnival, Crown Point saw a number of Jouvert bands passing through there. We saw Fog Angels, we saw Finishers Plus, along with a number of other very popular Jouvert bands. We saw Jade Monkey, they also brought their band out. These popular brands that we are accustomed to, we have not been seeing a lot of marketing from them in relation to that Crown Point Jouvert. Are they going to be participating as well?
Well, as we know, October Carnival was the first, and there was a lot of excitement around that, and rightfully so. Many of those bands, as we know, complained about the fact that they had not made a lot of money. And even though the event was wonderful, most bands do not have the funds to put together in a short time to have this Jouvert. However, we have 7 bands that expect to be on the streets in Crown Point, and we are going to go with that. At the end of the day, we all know that these are crunch times. This is a national festival, and therefore we are going to continue being part of the national festival. They said it's mother of all carnivals. Tobago hopefully will see, as they have done in the past, a lot of interest from Trinidad, who does not want that kind of carnival anymore. And the bands in Crown Point are used to getting their groups from Trinidad coming over. And we expect that again this year.
Okay, and with the limited funding and, well, as you said, the last minute, 6 trucks, a couple toilets, do you think it would deteriorate the brand that Crown Point has produced over the years, having this significantly reduced budget?
Well, exactly. The thing is that even though we know that there will not be judging points this year because we do not have the funds to put together the infrastructure that is necessary. Also, we used to having marshals to help guide the bands along and all this thing. We do not have that this year. Nonetheless, the bands are going to parade on the street. It's not going to deteriorate the brand as we know that brand, but next year we're going to come back even bigger and stronger, and we hope that the THA is on board with us as they have done in the past.
So my other question is, if this Crown Point Jouvert or a number of the activities that happen throughout this carnival season in February here, if it doesn't get the support that we're accustomed seeing, do you think it's going to further validate the opinion and the sentiment that has been shared by the Chief Secretary that Tobago should only have one carnival?
I mean, not necessarily. You see, the National Carnival is decreed by the President, and whether or not the Tobago House of Assembly could override that, I am not sure. But there are persons who prefer a particular location to have their revelers and to have their mass. Not having 2 carnivals in Tobago is something that I guess the THA has the authority to decide. So we'll wait and see and be guided accordingly. I personally think that the Tobago Carnival for the national event can be looked at differently and need to be structured in a way that we could maximize on the Trinidad Carnival. And we also need to look at post the Trinidad Carnival to team up with whether it's promoters or band leaders there to come over to Tobago for the post-carnival weekend. And that is something that they should look at.
Exactly,
hopefully.
because we often see a huge influx of tourists coming in on Tuesday evening as well as early on Ash Wednesday morning. And that's when we see the beaches being flooded with tourists, especially domestic tourists. And, persons who are looking for that carnival cool-down type setting. So are you alluding to the fact that we need to put more attention into that cool-down offering, what Tobago has to offer that is totally different from the wine and jam and jump in Trinidad, and produce a more unique, tourist-appropriate product?
That's absolutely right, because this is an opportunity for us to showcase Destination Tobago to those persons who are coming, and not only sometimes the local tourists. We have international visitors who come to Trinidad, but they may come over to Tobago for that to see Tobago as part of their experience. And therefore, we have an opportunity to showcase Tobago in a different way, not necessarily as a carnival mecca, but the uniqueness that Tobago has to offer, so they can hopefully come back as a visitor in the future. So, I mean, obviously, the east of Tobago is poised to really capitalize on some of that. The west has the more traditional and active and vibrant experiences. But a lot of these people can experience what the north of Tobago has to offer. And I think the post-carnival weekend, if the Festivals Commission sit with the stakeholders in ample time, could create an experience for those people coming over post Trinidad Carnival.
So are you, in essence, a bit in agreement with the idea that when it comes to the February Carnival, that Tobago should definitely create a totally different product, experience type package for its tourists?
I wouldn't say that I'm totally agreeable to that, but the post-Trinidad Carnival is something we can capitalize on. And that is where my interest lies, because like I said, I'm not sure the THA could not have a carnival in Tobago once it's decreed. However, I'm thinking that because we're operating in times with limited funding, and for the THA to assist and support, let's say 3 Jouvets on the island, I think we can then come together and decide a way and a strategy that could be done, because not only for the THA, but remember, the security forces and TEMA has to spread their resources too. So it is important that I would dare to suggest that the carnival, the Jouvert in particular, can be in Roxborough and Crown Point. And part of the support and the requirement would be for all those bands to support Scarborough on Monday night and on Tuesday. I know one of the concerns is with respect to the cruise ship and all of that, but all those logistics can be worked out with the experienced on the festival's commission, I hope. So I expect that they would have or meet with the stakeholders to strategize ways that can be done.
So do you have any insight into the route that is going to be taken for the Jouvert in Crown Point?
Yes, the route is pretty much the same we have done all the years. It's from the Green Shop to the Crown Point Heritage Park. That is
the Green Shop.
The Green Shop at Milford Court.
Okay, so it's not what they did during the October Carnival, where they started up at Stumpy's ground.
No, it will not be there. And I must dare say that the October Jouvert in Crown Point, the Crown Point Carnival Committee had nothing to do with the planning and execution of that event, because basically we were not consulted as the people who run Crown Point Jouvert. And I'm just saying that so that people understand that what occurred in October had nothing to do with the people who run the Crown Point Jouvert at the National Carnival level. And the time for the Jouvert is determined to be from 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's a bit early, but I'm thinking that the law enforcement persons hopefully will be able to get the bands off the road at that time.
And what is being done at this time to really encourage individuals to come and partake in that Crown Point Jouvert marketing-wise?
Well, the bands who are presenting, they're doing their thing in terms of promoting and let people know. And we're using platforms like this to let people know that Crown Point is happening. They need to come down to Crown Point. A cleaner, safer, brighter Jouvert is our brand. And therefore, we look forward to people being down in the Crown Point area, even from the Friday night. Make Crown Point your weekend carnival experience, starting from Friday night. And I ask all spectators and participants to ensure that they come to Crown Point and keep it clean, keep it safe, as we are accustomed to. I also want to indicate for persons who may need passes, because there are persons who are not interested in carnival, particularly the fishermen who need to ply their trade. To know that if they need passes, they can call 793-9901.
Excellent. And so before you go, a lot of people want to know what bands are going to be present in Crown Point this year. Do you have an idea of some of those bands that we can expect to see coming out?
Well, we have Fog Angels, Bago Limers, we have Sugar Lips and Friends, we have the Moon Over Water, we have, but we have about 7 bands that is expected to grace the streets of Crown Point.
Okay, and would you also be participating in the Jouvert? Who are you jumping with if you're jumping on Jouvert morning?
Well, I usually don't jump in Jouvert, to be honest with you, because I'm part of the organizing. We look at, what happens so we can do postmortem and assess, what happened. But we're encouraging everybody to come to Crown Point and experience Jouvert. And, we're going to be stronger and better for next year.
Excellent. And so is it a competition this year?
No, we do not have, competition this year because, as I said, it would require the funding that we don't need. But the bands are excited and the revelers are excited, and they know that Crown Point is a space that they can, play themselves and experience a brighter, safer Jouvert.
Well, viewers, you heard it here, and that's on Monday, the 20th of February from 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. You guys know where to meet. It starts at the Green Shop, and they are going all the way down
To Crown
to
Point,
Crown Point Heritage Park.
And that's where you turn around and head back up the road.
Excellent, excellent. So the vibe is going to be there down at Crown Point. You hear that a lot of your popular Crown Point bands are going to be present. And it's going to be something that you don't want to miss. It's a part of that Tobago Carnival experience. So guys, stay tuned. We have a number of other things that we're going to be chatting about, especially about this February Carnival here on the island of Tobago. Remember to like, share, and comment. And tell somebody to tell somebody that we're on Tobago Updates. All right, see you right after the break.
Wake up with Candace and Denicia.
Let's go, go. It's a brand new